everyone. Welcome to Driscoll's Election Dissection, your election analysis for Across the Circus. I hope you all are doing okay wherever you are. So on Tuesday, May 14th, there were 3 states that held primary elections. And on Tuesday, May 21st, there's going to be not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 states. That's right. 4 states are holding primary elections that day. Those states being Georgia, Idaho, Kentucky, and Oregon. But despite our last show having numerous primaries going on in 3 states, or at least battleground primaries for that matter, not a lot of the primaries in the 4 states listed are very competitive. In fact, we're only going to be talking about 2 of those states and 3 races altogether. Yes, we're going to be skipping Idaho and Kentucky, but we will be talking about Georgia and Oregon. All 3 of them are congressional seats, and all 3 of them are Democratic Party primaries. And in 2 of these seats are solidly Democratic, meaning the Democrat will have the main advantage heading into November, but one of these seats is a toss-up, and the Democratic primary could judge how the seat will go. Will it flip or will it stay? We'll talk about that one a little later. So we will start in the Peach State, the state of Georgia. And specifically, we are talking about Georgia's 13th congressional district. The incumbent for this office is current Representative David Scott. He is a Democrat. He was first elected to this seat in the year 2002, back when it was first established due to redistricting, and he has held the seat ever since. And in that time, he has actually very rarely had primary challengers, but they have increased over the last 3 election cycles, but he has done very well fighting them off. However, this year might be different. See, there was a Politico article that was released, and I guess some of Scott's Democratic colleagues don't necessarily want him to run again. It's not that they don't like him, it's just, well, according to this article, they believe that his health may be going down, and when a $1.5 trillion farm bill came along, he had a lot of trouble helping negotiate it. But despite that, David Scott is running, and he believes that he is fully capable of keeping the office he's had for the last 20 years. So he does face a few challengers, but there's only one major challenger in this election, and that is client account manager and Army veteran Marcus Flowers. And it may be hard for Mr. Scott because Marcus Flowers is actually not a stranger to running for Congress. In fact, 2 years ago, in 2022, he was the Democratic nominee in the District 14 election. However, he lost, partly because it was a solidly Republican district, and he was facing off against one of the Republican Party's rising stars, if you will, a woman named Marjorie Taylor Greene. You may have heard of her. So there are no polls released for this race, but fundraising numbers show that Scott does have a heavy edge over Mr. Flowers. But this is a race to watch out for, as it could potentially tip the scales in Georgia's congressional delegation. And this is a solidly Democratic seat. In fact, this is the second most Democratic seat in Georgia's delegation, having it part of the Atlanta metro area and surrounding counties. So whoever wins this will very likely win in November. But there is another piece of interest about this race that might help or might hurt David Scott. You see, in the state of Georgia, for a primary election, a candidate must receive 50% of the vote or more. If not, the 2 candidates with the most votes will move on to a runoff election, which is scheduled to occur on June 18th. So if the field splits the votes and David Scott doesn't have a majority, he might likely face Marcus Flowers in the runoff, supposing he gets the second most votes. And that could put David Scott in trouble, or it might help him. We don't know. So be sure to watch out for this race, and if there is a runoff, watch out for that too. We will discuss that, of course, if we get there. All right, now from the Peach State to the Beaver State, we head to Oregon. Now, we're talking about 2 congressional seats here, and we're going to start in the 3rd congressional district. Now, the current representative in the 3rd congressional district is Earl Blumenauer. And Earl Blumenauer was first elected to this seat in 1996, and he has held it ever since. Well, he is retiring at the end of the congressional season, and as a result, he is not running for re-election, making this seat open. Now, this seat does contain most of the city of Portland and the surrounding county. And according to Cook's partisan voting index, this is the most Democratic seat in Oregon's congressional delegation. The Democrats have an advantage of 22 percentage points. So with such a high-profile Democratic retirement, of course, the field is large. But there are 3 major candidates in this race, according to fundraising and polling numbers, and they are State Representative Maxine Dexter, ex-Multnomah County Commissioner Sushila Jayapal, and Gresham City Councilor Eddie Morales. Now, there is no polling in this race. However, fundraising shows that it is pretty close. Maxine Dexter has fundraised the most money, but Sushila Jayapal is not that far behind her, and Eddie Morales is not that far behind her. So we're looking at something pretty close here. And judging from Congressman Blumenauer's retirement, whoever holds on to this seat might hold on to it for a long time, or could use it as a stepping stone for higher office. So then we move a little down the road. We go to Oregon's 5th congressional district. Now, this race in November is seen as a toss-up because according to Cook's partisan voting index, the Democrats have an advantage in this seat, but only by 2 points. And despite that, the current representative is a Republican. Yes, Lori Chavez DeRemer was elected to this seat in 2022 by a very slim margin. And she's not facing any opposition in the Republican Party because Oregon Republicans know this may be a close race and they don't want to turn off their own base. So with that, 2 Democrats are running in this primary, and they are State Representative Janelle Bynum and Attorney Jamie McLeod Skinner. And as always, a big thank you to PoliticsOne.com for providing occupations for the candidates, as well as Ballotpedia.com for showing the real battleground elections in the Congress this year. Be sure to check out both of those websites for election information for wherever you live. Now, it should be noted that this race is kind of personal in a way. Jamie McLeod Skinner won the Democratic primary 2 years ago, in fact defeating the incumbent Congressman Kurt Schrader. However, she lost to Lori Chavez DeRemer in that election, the one we literally just spoke about. And on top of that, Janelle Bynum and Lori Chavez DeRemer have history together. They ran in a state house seat in Oregon in the state legislature a few years back, and it actually became the most expensive state house race Oregon ever had. So history may be repeating itself truly one way or the other. And whoever wins this primary election will have to do a lot of campaigning and a lot of hard work to try to win the seat from Republican control. And it should make a very interesting race come November. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So those 3 races are races you should look out for on Tuesday, May 21st, when the results come in. And as always, I say, if you are a registered voter in the states of Georgia, Idaho, Kentucky, or Oregon, I don't care who you vote for, but I do care that you vote. So please do. Thank you for listening to Driscoll's Election Dissection. If you would like to learn more about the show, go online to algidproductions.com/acrossthecircus and be sure to listen to us on any podcasting form you like. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you all very soon.